The pull is up for the Manitoba Organization of Disport's high school final. We're at a Little Mountain Sportsplex. We have SGR Varsity bringing out their zone against the Kelvin Clippers. I'm Corey Draper, and I'm joined by Hugh Wachenko.
How are we doing today, everybody? Hopefully you're doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking for an exciting game. If you have got a chance to watch our middle school final, you're going to see a very different game here. Kelvin in their second appearance here in this broadcast, second year in a row being in the finals. Ooh, Thomas tried to put that throw through the cup, slipped it out of his hand. It looks like it went right down. SGR girls crowding in there on their cup. Jordan Steele, I believe that is, on the far sideline. Gets it to Ryan Eisbrenner, who I believe won the MVP at High School Nationals, which SGR won this year. Quick movement. Jaden Rich back to Sean Bennett. Jordan Steele over to Jaden Rich. And did he keep it in? Is it a score? We're waiting to see. Looking for some confirmation. Looks like he was just out.
Zach Tottle with the disc on the sideline.
Zach throws up a wonky, ill-advised forehand hammer.
Almost gets caught.
Yeah, it almost did. Throw over to Jaden. He sets that to Ryan. Oh, Sean just tipped off his hand, but grabbed down by Jordan Steele. SGR charges the field in advance of something that maybe they shouldn't have. What's going on here? Am I wrong? No, it is a point.
So that'll make the score 1-0 SGR.
That I didn't quite see why they thought it wasn't a point.
No, I really don't. It looks like Jordan Steele just sort of jumped up and caught it through the traffic, and then everyone started charging, and then they thought maybe it was too early to charge, and everyone got excited. But here we are, 1-0 SJR. Game's just getting underway.
You know, I'm just noticing, despite the way the feathers are blowing and look like they're pushed right down, it does not feel as windy as it did even just 2 or 3 minutes ago. And that could be some terrible luck for Kelvin to basically start with the wind at their back, but not really get the advantage of having that wind. They really need a strong point here to break this momentum of SGR, who's going to really feel strong about getting that upwind break, taking that lead. They're a team that has a lot of experience, and they know how to win these tournaments. And if you give them that edge, it's going to be tough to come back. But Kelvin is stock full of touring players and has basically essentially what I would call the coach of the year from the last year, not just in Ultimate, but basically in all of Winnipeg high school sports. Even though he did not win the award that we nominated him for, no one has the credentials that Willem Conrad does as he walks off the sideline hoping that his Kelvin Clippers can turn this point around.
Willem, of course, was the head coach of MOFO, or Masters of Flying Objects junior men's provincial team, who last year in Edmonton took home gold.
Yeah, it was an amazing day. I was there, saw the whole thing. It was quite impressive. It was anytime we can take down a BC or a Toronto team in a national event, that's a feather in Winnipeg's cap. And but Will didn't just stop there. He got a silver in high school nationals with this Kelvin team, and he won this provincial championship last year. Bassam, one of the top handlers, a lefty's going to pick that disc up. Brings it up to Thomas. SGR looks like they're bringing a zone again. Oh, just a little tip.
Looks like Sean Bennett will run over to the disc to pick it up.
Sean delaying things. Number 13, Ryan Esbrenner, making his way into the stack. Jaden steps out. Little spin move by Ryan, and what a catch. Be surprised if Kelvin doesn't call a timeout here. This just doesn't look like the team that's been playing all weekend. Kelvin has been running roughshod over everybody until they got to today and had some tougher matchups. My own beloved Sturgeon Heights Huskies lost a heartbreaker to them in the semifinals. Much deserved win by Kelvin, and props to all the players on Sturgeon who put up a heck of a fight.
Looks like SGR will take that timeout as they won against Grey Academy in their semifinal.
That's right. Kelvin has some devastatingly tall players, and one of them I'd only seen today, and he is tough to deal with. On their downwind points, it was all we could do to just stop them from just posting him up in the end zone and just floating that up there because, I mean, I'm assuming he's only about 6'6", but he might as well be 20 feet tall compared to some of the players. we will do our best to identify all of the players. Some of these players have been through our programs for a long time, playing on our provincial teams, through MoFo, Manitou, Red River Rebellion, our girls team, even Spitfire. But and through those years, through middle school, through high school, and through our programs, we've come to know them. I've had the pleasure of coaching some of them, and even playing with some of them on rec teams. But of course, there are new faces, and hopefully our sheet will help us identify some of those people. So as stated, SJR Varsity has dominated this tournament for years and years and years, with only 3 years in the over 20-year history of our event were they not the champions. So last year was a bit of a blip. When it was the first year we ever did our broadcast, it was one of the first years that SJR was not in the finals. I believe it was the first year they were not in the finals. Great, yeah, we have a nice little clipboard here to pull together. Again, Kelvin unfortunately doesn't have specific numbers on their jerseys, or at least consistently. But like I said, I do know several of those players and their tendencies, as we have to coach against them.
So we're going to do our best to make sure everyone gets their name called.
Some of the key players in this game are going to be Sam Burridge from SJR, and some of those names we mentioned on that first point, Sean Bennett, Jordan Steele, Ryan Asbrenner, all very impressive. But the thing is about these teams is how deep they are. It's not about 2 or 3 players. It's about the whole roster. They have players that would be among some of the best players on some of the other teams of this tournament who would maybe be considered at the bottom of the roster of the team we see in the finals. SJR starting out with a bit of a wall zone. Just trying to frustrate Kelvin, make them make lots of passes. Can you scout out the name of that tall gentleman? I still haven't figured out who he is. Ryan. They didn't give us his last name. He's just Ryan Tall with ponytail, and he certainly is. That was an ill-advised throw by Thomas right into that deep. It's what SJR wants. They want you to throw it over the wall and let their athletic tall deep in that zone get it. Ryan to Sean. Sean over to Jaden. Up to Ryan. They're moving it quickly. Thomas trying to get back on the mark. Oh, a little bit of tip. What's going to happen here? Oh, couldn't quite see it,
So
but I
caught
believe.
there by our buddy Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. It's good.
Ryan came
to
up with
be
the D.
tall.
Yes.
I'm going to bring that one back from last year. Sam and Zach and Thomas, they're going to have to find some patience as they keep throwing it into what SJR wants, which is that deep throw so their deep defender can get at it. SJR does float up the line and scores. I believe that is our 2-0 score. Did you? The crowd blocked me. I couldn't see that.
3-0 score.
3-0 score. Pardon me. Of course, the timeout was after 2. The points are coming fast and furious. This is a game to 15. We're still getting used to all the technical stuff we have here as far as our headsets and our microphones. Jayden, who's walking off towards our sideline, is someone I just became aware of this winter as he was playing in our men's indoor ultimate draft league. So we have a strike league, which is our top one, and Jayden was one of the high school players playing in our B division group. And that's not to say anything short of him, because that's against the top players that play in that top A division league. So it's no shortage that he wasn't placed in that league. But several high school players gained valuable experience this winter playing against other adults, even some of the old Wiley veterans that play in the Masters and Grandmasters divisions, and some of the co-ed players. There's a lot of coaching support for both of these teams.
Also, the rain seems to have stopped a little bit on us, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Nice for the players,
it
too.
didn't really seem to pick up, which of course scared off probably any stragglers that were still at the park. Not quite the large crowd we saw last year on a nice day.
We do want to thank Little Mountain Sportplex again for having us at their wonderful park, wonderful facility. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. It was nice to have some indoor shelter considering the weather even too.
So wonderful clubhouse, amazing. And it was really great for mods to test this venue, as it will be the site of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships in 2018. Really test the full capacity of this venue.
So here comes the 3-0 pull from SJR.
Brendan Wong, I believe.
Tyler.
Sorry.
Tyler Wong.
Brendan is much more famous than Tyler Wong. Different guy. To Zach Tottle. Looks like Skylar's running through the middle there, trying to run a bit of a clear. Yeah, but you know, a nice catch-up field. I'm not quite sure who that is. We're going to identify her in a second. SJR's zone could put a little bit of a cramp in one of Kelvin's best weapons, and that's Megan Gillis, who's striking deep in the middle of the field. She's super fast, but sometimes Sam runs a little bit of a jam behind the cup to move that disc. They just got to keep breaking that count. They can't get frustrated and throw it over the top. The Sam's going to send up that lefty backhand to Megan, but just carried over a little bit.
Actually, a pretty nice throw from Bassam and a good look too. Not
overall,
just
considering for sure.
The deep was
This
not there to see
going
it.
up. Can Bassam find it? No, Gabe with the read. Gabriel Young just pulled up underneath and pulled short and got that. The player coming out of the Manitou system. Oh, feels a little pressure. Knocks. Megan's got to be careful with that D. That's almost going to be a tip right to SJR.
Doesn't know where her player is, but if she does tip it up in the air too high, then the SJR could have an opportunity to come and grab it.
Liam Goodkin just chasing this disc back, making sure, just escorting it to the ground. Oh, the throw was a little off.
It's a tough backhand throw to make.
Yep. Zach Tottle also played Manitou last year. Had a chance to basically hand over my winter team to him as I was injured and not able to play. I think he grew something like 4 or 5 inches this winter. It was quite incredible. Just sprouted up. He's pretty tall now. I saw him curling that disc up, but Ian just waiting for him. Tyler looks to put it upfield. Oh, it just looked to me like he was on the line. Nobody calls it though, and Gabe just puts that past. Kelvin's really got to watch. With the painted line, it's a little bit easier to see if somebody's in or out. And that would have been devastating for them if they had not made that call and then had that throw caught. Kelvin may want to try to change some of the tactics they're using right now to break this initial zone. They seem to be abandoning the disc and just taking their chances. Throw didn't quite make it. Blaze Cunningham, one of the taller players on SJR, throw just didn't quite hang up. Over here to Skylar, can he find it? Yes, he does. Brings it and keeps his feet in. It throws a little off, but Ryan's super tall. Oh, nice recovery.
Zach Tottle Boosters. Tottle now has the disc. Apparently that's his full name.
Trying to determine the Kelvin cutter on the near side, the girl with the gray hoodie. Don't quite see that description on here, but hopefully we'll figure out who she is. Skylar with another nice save of the disc. After this high school final, we'll be announcing not obviously the presentation for the championship, but also the graduating all-stars. Oh, Megan just tried to save that disc, but it slipped through her hands. SJR content to just keep putting this.
Looks like that disc did land in bounds, so Kelvin will have to take it where it
Caitlin
lands.
Cho, nobody's going to have the wheels to catch up to that disc.
But I do believe that was SJR's intent. Let their zone do the work.
Kelvin really needs to bring back more support for this disc.
Cutters look like they're a little too deep.
4 to 5 players covering them, and they've only got about 2 or 3 at most times. Oh, no.
Here comes the forehand huck. It's going to sit in the air. Bassam is there, and he will catch it.
There, yeah. Zach saves that disc low to the ground. Gets the throw to the middle to Skyler, and he's going to put it. Now it looks like something that might work.
That is the height matchup they're looking for. I was just unable to read it
we
into
played
the
in
wind.
that semifinal, and Ryan found most of those discs. They seem to get to him. Catch up to, I believe, Caitlin there. He's looking to reset that. Liam to Tyler. Tyler to Gabe with a big backhand rip. And Blaze wants that. Oh!
Just out of the reach.
Ishika Mattel, she was on the original year of Red River Rebellion. Quite the athlete, actually. I haven't seen her, I didn't see her around last year, so I'm not sure if she was playing Ultimate or not, but definitely on the team this year.
That zone does look a little
I'd like
close.
to see Kelvin bring back more players to support that disc. Ryan to Zach. Zach's looking to put this out of space.
It's going to hang a little bit,
Yeah,
but still caught by Bassam.
Bassam catches up. And I think they're... Again, we see Kelvin with no additional handler support.
It's really important that with all those players there for SGR making the wall for their zone, you need to have more support from Kelvin's players like Corey's saying to make sure you can move the disc effectively. You can't just stand around and wait for the perfect
barely
throw.
kept that in. Maybe by process of elimination, I can figure out who that player is. I feel bad. I apologize to her and her family.
Nice catch there by Zach Tottle.
In one hand, I know what Kelvin is maybe thinking, which is throw it over the top. They've got the 4 players on 2, and then now you're past them, and you can flow it upfield. And that's fine if that's working, but with this wind, it's not. The way the style of FJR zone, there's always a free pass. You can always reset it.
But it's a matter of patience.
It's a matter of patience, which we know Kelvin has. They have so much experience on this team and in their coaching staff. Gabe happy to huck that up. I think the wind's going to take that out, though. Maybe not, though. Wow.
That hung up there quite a while and just came right down.
Yeah, it really looked like the wind would carry it out of bounds, but it did stay in. Zach just looking trapped, and that's what I'm talking about. There's no reason they shouldn't have someone behind the disc for a free swing who could swing that over to Bassam. They don't have to punch that through that wall. They're kind of playing into SJR's hands at this point. Little swing to Gabe. Gabe moves that to, pardon me, Michelle Matthews, who's got the disc and is still holding on to it. That count's got to be getting high. Bassam doing a little bit of a double team, in my opinion, but Liam Goodkin, is that going to be a score? Sort of an anticlimactic point here. Skylar thinks it is. He seems to be walking off. It's a bit of a discussion.
Ryan looks like he's showing him that it hit the ground. So with that, it looks like it's going to go back to the thrower.
Yes.
It should be at a high stall count.
You would think they would have to be at 8 or 9, but I would have thought she would have been stalled down already, so there might have been an issue with even starting the count in the first place. Oh, wait a minute. A little bit of a call.
Looks like she is calling it down.
Yes. Wasn't sure if it was a travel, but that makes sense on the stall down. As she did not release it immediately. She faked her forehand and then threw backhand, which is just enough time. Oh, no, it's a contested stall.
Which means the disc will come in at 8 or 9.
Looks like Gabe's probably going to get this on a reset, which is what she's been looking for the whole time.
Some making sure he's set up right there and won't get there in time. Gabe Jung now has the disc.
Over the top, Caitlin, and
almost got on the seconds there, but not quite.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler just lunged out there, got his fingers on it, but could not keep it off the ground.
Not sure what the discussion is going on the field here. Perhaps a foul call. SGR might be calling one. And that does look like what it's going to be. Looks like Ishika was saying that there was a foul on her. Oh no, that's not her.
Oh,
Apologies.
Ryan steps in front of Liam there.
Big Caitlin Cho making that call.
That's a
But
clean
Kelvin will now have the disc.
Again, look at this, one handler against the wall. Now, the over-the-top stuff makes that wall ineffective, but until Kelvin can start scoring points off of this, that won't matter. Bassam apparently happy to throw into the mismatch here, unless Megan can. Ooh. I see why they want to throw that down when Ryan's down there. I'm not sure why they want to put up a big Hail Mary 50-50 type play to nobody. Oh, bit of a drop. So as you can see, we've already had, much more turnovers and back and forth in this 1 point than we did in everything else that's happened before it. There's Zach with a bit better idea. Oh, that's unfortunate. That distance didn't hang for him. Gabe looks like he's going to rip it again. He just keeps doing that.
Seems a little ill-advised considering that he had a 4-on-1 advantage there.
I'd like to see Gabe hold on to that a second longer and just throw a bit more patience. Blaze had a nice. If he would have let Blaze come across the field, he probably could have just floated that out to this side of the field. Let Blaze run onto it.
That's what comes with this ultimate, especially in the finals. A little bit of jitters, a little bit of nervousness.
For sure.
You want to score right away, but it looks like SGR will get another opportunity right now.
But SGR had an opportunity to head out to high school nationals earlier this spring, win the championship. They've done that multiple times. Gabe again putting up hard throw. Can Caitlin find it?
That's an unbelievable catch if she's in bounds, and it is. A one-handed grab by Caitlin Cho. That'll make the score 4-0 for SJR over Kelvin. That's a very demoralizing point for Kelvin, as they had tons of success going up the field, and then to get scored on such a nice catch, that's tough to deal with. But now they've got the win, so.
Yeah. Having played against both of these teams this weekend, I really wouldn't have called this type of a start to this game. I thought it would have been a little bit more back and forth. I'm not surprised SGR has a lead, but I am surprised that Kelvin's struggling, and especially struggling sort of on that strategy side of things. You look over there, they've got, not only do they have Willem, but Daniel Plurd's over there. There's other alumni hanging out. There's a lot of experienced players. I would look to see some sort of an adjustment to the style. And if I'm SGR, I'm just going to keep playing that same zone. Prove to me that you can break it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Quinn Wilson standing in what we call the 4 position beside Thomas is his first point out there. Good to see him on the field. The pull is up, it's hanging.
Drop down near the middle of the field.
They're sending Bassam upfield as one of their primary handlers. I'm a little surprised Thomas hasn't swung this to Quinn already. He could have thrown he could have put an upfield throw that would have got them close to midfield. Quinn's brother graduated last year and was a big part of this program. I'd like to see them get a little wider on that too. Oh. Megan gets bumped into. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen teams over the last several years, we've been watching SGR in these finals for a long time, and it's been a few years since I've really seen them use the wall that they're really using today, and that the handlers crowd up. They don't take enough space. Bassam with a nice catch.
Oh, just off the fingertips there of Megan.
Tom Bennett just putting that in a spot that really wasn't catchable.
Around to Thomas as the middle of the field. He throws a forehand up.
Thomas puts that to Quinn.
That's going to be caught just in front of the end zone.
There we go.
Kelvin now have scored their first point of the game. They are fired up about it, as they should be. That makes the score 4-1 for SJR.
Good job. I'm just trying to go through their female list. I know several other players. I'm just trying to figure out who that was.
regardless, that's a big point for Kelvin, as SJR could have taken a 5-0 stranglehold there with that point, so that would have been very demoralizing. So the fact that they got one early enough in the game where it's definitely not out of reach, it's a very important one.
This is going to be the thing, though, is when we've seen this line, I don't know if it's the exact same 7 players, but let's say these 4 guys, they've really moved the disc very quickly and scored quite quickly.
Yes.
And especially but we have not seen them with their wind at their back, so it'll be interesting to see if Kelvin can stop them. We'll be watching a lot of these players next week, Tuesday and Thursday, for the last 2 days of our provincial team tryouts. By the time people see this broadcast, they might have already happened, so we won't really bother saying like how people can go and stuff like that. But it's just a big part of the process. Get through the spring season. We've already done a couple of the tryouts. I know there's been a lot of great people showing up, new faces, returning players. Winnipeg looking to send a strong contingent out to Ottawa this August for the national championships.
Of course, they'll want to try and go back-to-back with their gold medal win last August in Edmonton.
Yeah, Winnipeg's second ever gold medal in the junior open division. Oh, Jane just couldn't quite secure that. Went up, had it, but it came out. Quinn stops the roll, thinks about it, picks it up. Puts that over the top, a little risky, and not enough spin on it. There's some sort of a call, but I don't think that's going to maybe affect anything. I don't know. No, it's not. It's a turnover. It's with those backhand high releases. They just usually don't have enough spin on them on a day like today. Ryan sends that up.
Big forehand to Jordan Steele.
Basam's going to try to get there. Yes, he did.
Really nice bid there from Jordan.
On Sean Bennett's head.
That was Jordan Steele's head. But
Jordan Steele, sorry.
But he recovers quickly and gets the D, and now gets it back and passes it back to Bennett. He slides down, finds a wide open. Who is that in the end zone?
Ooh, I figured that out in a second. I believe that is... Sorry, the crowd jumped in front of us and we can't even see, so it'll take us a minute to figure out. That might have been Maddie, but maybe not. I think 4-1.
5-1.
5-1. Those first few points happen so fast, it's hard to keep track of them. The thing you notice besides the larger field compared to the middle school is just the ability to move the disc all over and to bring it to this side of the field. We're seeing much more variety in the play, of course, but we're also seeing a zone defense, which is something we're never going to see in a middle school game, which creates a very different atmosphere.
Looks like that last point was caught by number 30, Daniela Oridi.
Ah, yes.
So 5-1 the score for SJR over Kelvin. SJR in white, Kelvin in red.
SJR charges up the field. Sam Peterson got that disc to Basam, who puts it over the top, but right into the D.
You have the two biggest guys on the field, Jordan Steele and Sam Bennett, standing in the middle, so probably wouldn't be a very smart decision to try and pop it over the top.
Is this win going to get there? Yes, Basam recovers that opening. Slices it right through the cup. Zach Tottle. I always find that sometimes the players have a heart. Wow, interesting. I know they don't want to play with it down there, but this isn't the middle school game. This isn't. You can't just give up free turnovers against SJR. Ryan runs on. Up to Jaden. Oh.
Perhaps the cold and wind played a factor there.
Absolutely.
An uncharacteristic drop of Jordan Steele's.
Yeah, it came out of his hands, off his chest, and right to the ground. Yeah, they're just content to keep trying to see if they can't get this height mismatch, but it's not that big of a mismatch in the height, and Ryan, with experience-wise, I would assume might have that edge in the read, and just the positioning of already being back there. Jordan with some hard fakes, looking for his reset.
Looks like another catch there for Daniela.
From our perspective, it's hard to see if she was on the line, so she might not have been in yet, but clearly she was.
That'll make the score 6-1 for SJR.
Yes.
And just like our middle school game, this game will be played to 15 unless otherwise stopped by a time cap. So whichever team gets to 8 first will claim halftime.
That's right. And at the rate SJR is going, it would be hard to see them not doing that. So while Kelvin did graduate a large number of players, they do have a significant amount that were here last year and did play a big part in their provincial championship. And hopefully between that and their other experiences and some of them being on that team that won gold at Nationals in Edmonton with the boys team last summer, they'll be able to find a way to get back in this game. I guess job number one is break that zone and force SGR to start playing man.
I think that's the best way. Break their spirits down as far as their zone and try and get them to, but based on how their zone has seemed to be working for them, it seems like a tall order.
Absolutely. Earlier this spring, the Mods Top 10, the first ever high school top 10 players list, was printed in the Metro 2-page spread. That was a great bit of exposure for the sport, and many of those players are in this game.
I believe both Jordan Steele and Sean Bennett were on that list.
Absolutely. Jordan Steele, Sean Bennett, Bassam is on that list, Sam Burge. Megan is also from Kelvin, was on that list, ranked very high. And of course, we have to give props to the number one on that list, our boy Keenan Ashley from Sturgeon Heights. Ooh, ill-advised, but it's gonna work. Quinn coming back to collect that disc. This zone is taking away some of Kelvin's athleticism and their ability to run. Skylar with a nice little cut through the zone.
Talk about athleticism. Skylar has it. He's very, very fast.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, a little bit of an odd approach on the catch there. The one hand sort of just didn't kind of get up.
Especially in the wind, it's tough to try and read that.
It looked
disc
like he
with
wasn't
one
sure
hand.
if she was going for a two-hand or a one-hand catch. Oh, nobody's going to get that except for this. Ooh. Not recognizing. Got a Ben Cockshot here on the near side, number 4. Don't really recognize him. Played against Exeter a few times, just don't recognize him.
But a nice play made by him there.
Looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got a good pivot. He's going to put that up.
It's a good space to put it to.
And that almost
gets
worked.
caught.
That's an impressive looking throw. So clearly not someone they just picked up in the hallway and said, hey, do you want to come play some ultimate this weekend?
I don't think that's how they do their
That's
program
not
at
how they
SJR.
do it. Might work like that in other schools, but not at SJR. You want to be on this varsity team, you got to commit.
And these players have, considering their success.
Almost doing a lot of faking, but not a lot of pivoting, and his teammates are not giving him a lot of options.
Nice catch there by Skylar on the sideline.
There you go, Thomas underneath.
That's the right idea for a cross.
Quinn.
Just
That's
right
just
off
too
the
bad.
hands. And that's what SJR does. They want you to make as many throws as possible.
That's
and
right.
hope for a turnover.
Yep.
And in this wind, it seems likely.
Oh, Gabe with what looked like an ill-advised pass, but it worked. Didn't have a lot of spin on it.
Really nice catch there by Tyler Wong.
Yep. We'll see what's happening. I think it looks like Kelvin, are they calling a timeout, or is this just a walk to the line?
Looks like a walk to the line.
So as easy as the armchair quarterback, coach over here, but I'd like to see Kelvin switch up their formation, bring back a fourth person, whether it's a handler or another cutter, and just, there's not a lot of crashing going on through that wall. There's not a lot of movement. They're allowing SGR to sort of stay in their positions. They're doing a few passes back and forth, and then they're just trying, those short passes over the middle or the long bombs. And we've seen very few of them have worked.
Also, the score that now makes the score 7-1 for SJR. One more point for them, and they will take half.
Yes. Neil Santos out now on the line. And the reason I said what I said about, what I expect to maybe see them do differently is because I've seen them do it. There's a reason why Kelvin's in this final, and if somebody never watched this, they'd think, oh, this is a poorly matched game, and it's a one-sided game. But like any sports, anyone can win on any day, and I just think, right now, this half, it's things that just haven't gone Kelvin's way. Walking the near sideline near our tent, Sean Storm, one of our provincial team coaches, part of that coaching staff of the Mofo boys goal-winning team last summer, and again returning this year, working with Daniel Plurd and Willem Conrad to, as Hugh said, hopefully challenge for another title.
Sean Bennett looks like he has the disc ready to pull.
Yep.
Waiting for the hand from Kelvin.
Looks like SJR
You see it now, and here comes the pull. Really high pull.
Yeah.
Based on the wind, it looks like it's going to drop right.
Oh, it's going to come back just around midfield. Yeah. Again, an interesting strategy.
Tanis with the disc in the middle of the field, swinging it back to Bassam.
Oh, Bassam with a near bit on that. Want to say that's Sam?
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be Sam Burge there, number 2.
Yeah.
One of the players, as Corey mentioned, on the high school top 10 list. And that disc just drops just a little bit short in that wind.
It's a tough one.
Right idea, but tough to
Caitlin
execute.
Cho, she's been involved in a lot of the throws to the end zone have gone to her, and she's been close on getting several of them. Bassam just pinned in that corner. Throws that over the top to Zach.
Those seem to work when they don't go too far. I feel
Right.
like that's when it seems to be working for Kelvins. They don't want to get too impatient and just keep working.
Zach
on
almost
popping over the top.
lost that. Oh, not a great step out on the throw, and it just dropped on him. Jordan with a great second stab at that disc. Swings it back to Sean. Over to Ryan. Jaden, close, but it did not happen. Santos able to put enough pressure on him. Zach over the top again to Santos. Doesn't seem if they're not having success in something, they don't seem to be going away from it. They maybe what they're comfortable with, and they just want to do it. Puddle to Bassam. Bassam over the top to Ryan. Ryan's going to look for that reset. And right into the crowd. Wow! Bit of a dangerous throw. Kelvin needs to take advantage of this, and Megan slipped right at the wrong time.
Just as they were gaining momentum.
Look at the transition. That interception, and then right up the field.
SJR moves it just so quickly and effectively.
You don't have time to think. Oh, a little bit off. That's what they've always gotten you over all these years, is they really preach moving that disc. It's not about waiting for some handler from 20 yards away to walk up and pick it up. Pick it up and move it. They're all handlers. Zach and Bassam, they gotta finish this off. Like to see those handlers spread out. They're not making that wall move at all. They're just throwing it 5-10 yards max.
And SJR not budging, even though they're so close to the end zone. They are
I'd like
not
to see a red shirt
away.
over on this home sideline and swing it all the way over. Make their whole defense shift. Change the angle of attack.
Kelvin is not going away from their system, and SJR is not going away from their zone. So lots of stubbornness between the two teams.
That's right. Zach, either not being counted or just doesn't care. Neil looking around. I'd like to see that swing to Bassam. Get it to your primary handler, but get wider. He's not even outside of that wall. There we go.
There's a point for Kelvin.
Yeah.
That'll make the score 7-2 for SJR. Nice patience there.
That might have been Lindsay. We've got that's a girl I'm not familiar with. Described as taller. That's what I'd say she is. I apologize if that's not who it is.
But Kelvin able to work it up the field with a lot of passes and kind of frustrate SGR as they stuck with their zone the entire time. So good work by Kelvin.
If I'm correct, I believe that was that play started all the way back. I believe that was Santos, that play in the middle that kind of saved what should have been a turnover.
Absolutely.
And finally allowed them to get it all the way down.
Perhaps the momentum booster they needed.
And I think maybe most noteworthy about that point is about who they scored it against. So that looked like what SJR is using is what I would call their top line.
For sure.
It seems to be the players that they've, they've kind of stacked that line with their most veteran experienced players, mainly graduating players. And to score on that team, on that line, even though it was a downwind, is still a bit of a nice change of pace for what's been going on. Give Kelvin some confidence that they can start to get a few points in a row, go on a bit of a run.
And as we say that, the sun's starting to peek out a little bit here at Little Mountain.
Yeah, last time I said that though when we were last time, so I didn't want to jinx us.
So again, 7-2 for SJR. Kelvin with the pole.
Thomas, the big forehand rip. But this wind's just not going to allow. Oh, but you might get a very positive roll.
Yeah, SJR doesn't have a chance to stop it before it gets out of bounds. And
yeah, trap him on that sideline.
3/4 down the field.
You saw him with almost a straight up mark, not really trying to keep it on that line too much, just trying to prevent those upfield throws.
Oh, nice D there from Bassam.
I did not quite see
looks
it.
like
Nice.
a foul's being called on the throw.
Yeah, Quinn was looking to take advantage of that. He sped into the end zone.
He's saying he got tapped on the hand.
Of course, yeah. There's a lot of gray area in the rules, and especially at this age and area of experience, it's sometimes hard to sort of figure out what is and isn't a foul. SJR sends a player shrieking deep. Oh, wow. That was Bryn Murphy who kind of heads up to create that opportunity. Quinn's going to want to try to move that quick before the D sets. Oh, right into the, oh, wow.
That went
Negative
right
with the
over
catch.
Steele's hands.
Wants to put that to Thomas, but he's kind of being covered. I'm going to move that to Skylar. Back to Quinn. Bassam runs just inside of that wall. Ooh,
nice catch there by Thomas.
Oh, see, you're just telegraphing where you're throwing that. And again, if they had that extra handler, then that wall would have to think about taking away that space. Oh, Jordan almost walked himself out on that one.
That's
that
a great
cheeky.
catch.
Was that a
there.
lefty backhand over the shoulder?
With a lefty catch. Both right-handed players.
Yes. And Ryan gets in there to secure the point.
Well, it looks like they
Waiting
might
for
be
a call, I believe.
So no point quite yet. SJR is still close though, knocking on the doorstep.
Blading over the top and just secured. I believe that's Caitlin Chow again.
Caitlin Cho.
Cho.
That now makes it 8-2 for SJR, and that'll be, looks like that'll be half.
That'll be half. Well, I certainly like the, I guess the last couple points better than the middle there. You know, it. Don't want to say someone's shooting themselves in the foot, but Kelvin is making it very difficult on themselves.
Kelvin's starting to get into a bit of a groove though, as
Yeah.
far as how they need to break their zone, and that last point was very showing of that. So good work by them.
One of the big advantages for them, I shouldn't say advantages, at least let's say one of the big opportunities for them is the 2-hour time cap. So they're a little bit less pressure. They do have more time to actually come back. Just watched Mikey Rafflub, one of the big players from their championship team last year, walked into the huddle. I'm sure they're trying to right now in this 5 minutes, this halftime, find the confidence, find a way to get back in. Yeah, we got it. So we'd like to thank Independent Jewelers Limited for their support of mods in this event. It's been great having them on board the last couple of years. With people when you're out at Mods Field, so the specific ones out at Maple Grove Park, which are the IGL fields, and then of course some of the fields here at Little Mountain are actually Mods Fields, and you'll see signage out on those fields that has been provided by IGL, and they're a big part of why we're even doing this. Wouldn't be able to do this broadcast without them. So I want to get back to that Metro article. So it was the first time we'd done that, and it sort of came from the idea of what other sports have been doing for years and years, decades really, volleyball, basketball. But what was unique about ours was, as co-ed is the primary sport that we play format in the high school league, so the list itself was co-ed. So when you look at the articles that are published for those other sports, their top 10 lists are single gender. So the top 10, female basketball players, top 10 male basketball players. So to have that list and have it as a co-ed list, and look and see that number 2 on that list, Sarah Jacobson, who had a shot at being number 1, was ranked up that high, and to see that list together, it's quite impressive. And to see someone, because she's so young, has another shot, maybe next year, the year after, where she will be number 1 on that list. It's great to see the gender equity in Ultimate. SJR's already starting to filter back to their sidelines, walk to the line. Looks like they're going to start filtering some more players into the lineup. They have a bit of the luxury right now of being able to use their bench a bit more. Kelvin's still huddled up in midfield, trying to find a way to get back in this game. Somebody stole Hugh from me here, so you'll have to put up with me by myself, rambling. All right, Kelvin cheering it up. They're going to start making their way over the line. We're going to get ready in a minute or two for the first pull of the second half. Here we go. I'd like to see some adjustments. That's the big thing in the second half is, can we see some adjustments out of Kelvin? Can they change the positioning, the format? Can they spread out their handlers? Can they find a way to make that wall move and attack upfield? Because to this point, what they've been trying to do hasn't worked enough for them. And obviously to get back in this game, they're going to have to go on a serious run, a 3-4 point run to close the gap. Put a little bit of fear into SGR. For parents looking for an option this summer for youth with Ultimate, got a couple of options. Mod Summer Camp, which we talked about during the middle school game.
We run from July 17th to 20th by yours truly here, along with my other summer staff co-workers, Brendan Wilson and Karen Hatch. It'll be a fun week of Ultimate. We'll hopefully get some good weather, and we'll do some.
Sure.
We'll do some other stuff too.
That's right. It's not just all Ultimate all day, otherwise you kill the kids. But some other team sports and games, and it's a great. If nothing else, it's cheap babysitting. But more importantly, it's about developing those skills in those kids, and we've seen, as Hugh pointed out, several of them. We've seen them here this weekend. Another option for people that aren't looking for that, that kind of commitment of a daytime camp. There is a weekly Tuesday night from July and August at Assiniboine Park, the Winnipeg Youth Ultimate League, which that program runs as 12 to 15-year-olds. You can register online at mods.mb.ca or call the office at 925-5665 for more information. Ooh, quick drop. Kelvin can use this.
Definitely going against the wind, coming right out of half.
They'd love to get an upwind break. Zach, they're still working with 2 people behind the wall, and I could understand if it was, whoa, Zach saved that one. Oh, but then it hooked on his finger on that throw and an easy turnover. Let's see if Gabe's going to be backhand huck happy again. No, he swings it over to Blaze. Megan's in on Blaze. Coming out of that zone, sometimes it's hard to pick up your check because you don't actually have anybody on you. Tyler sliding to his knees to get that disc. Back to Gabe. Oh, a little bit of a foot block. It's hanging. Oh! Skylar tried to get in. There we go. The score by SJR. It's 9-2. Just kind of backing that play up a bit. Trying to figure out, I believe they have a player on the field who's not on our list. No, that was Ethan Lynn. Ethan Lynn was the one who made that catch. And then he got that disc in. I don't know who actually made that catch. I lost track of that. Did you see?
No, I did not see that, unfortunately.
Might have even been that Michelle Matthews, maybe. We'll watch the tape later and find out. There's the godfather of Canadian Ultimate, Dean Wright, making his way off the field. He's over there cheering on his team. Happy to see that point. Dean Wright, the only person from Winnipeg currently in the Ultimate Canada Hall of Fame. Of course, he's been a Mods Lifetime member for a long time and Hall of Fame member, but it was very happy when we saw very early when Ultimate Canada first started naming people to their Hall of Fame that Dean was put in, rightfully so, for everything he's done for Junior Ultimate in Winnipeg and Canada.
Lots of players that come out of SGR and dominated at the adult level, so there's lots to be proud of, at least from that program.
In 1994, when Winnipeg hosted nationals for the first time, Dean was the one that convinced Ultimate Canada, back then known as the Canadian Ultimate Players Association, to have a junior division. So Winnipeg did win the first junior division, although we'll put a little asterisk there because there weren't any other teams other than teams from Winnipeg. So
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, I was.
She went to school at Teshvo.
Thomas over the top. Nice catch.
Looks like
They
Jordan
was trying
Steele's
to call him out.
Yeah.
Glad to see Jordan not making a dangerous bid over top of the player. His only chance to get a D on that would have been to stick his hand right into, arm right into her face. And really nice to see him make the safe play.
And that just sort of plays into what Dean Wright also preaches, which is not only fantastic ultimate players, but
That's right.
Really well-rounded people with good spirit.
That's right.
And
Respectful play that's not dangerous. Anyone can go diving around and crash into people, but
while it might be easy to, if you're not from SGR, hate on SGR for having so many wins,
That's
but
right.
it's hard to when they have such a fantastic program with fantastic kids.
when I was in the 80s, when I was fairly young, I remember, being jealous of, let's say, the Montreal Canadiens, and it's easy to hate them or the Edmonton Oilers because of all their championships. So that's kind of maybe what it is here. So this has been reset, put back to thrower. I'm not 100% sure what the call was. They disagreed on whether it was out or not, so back to thrower it goes. There's that high release again. He's swinging to the sideline. Bassam gets it. Over the top to Thomas. They're quite happy to do this. Ryan was a little flat-footed there, but it worked. Bassam looking for quick movement to Santos.
Very nice fake there to open up that middle.
Yeah. I just don't like those resets where they're only throwing it about a foot. It just doesn't seem to be...
The only way it'd be good is to reset the count, which they might be looking to do. But if they want to try and move that wall, they might want to find different ways.
Oh, jeez. What a great catch.
Looked like
but
her foot was
unfortunately,
out of bounds there.
I don't know. Our angle's not good enough. No,
great catch by
great
Tanis.
spirit. She knew she couldn't quite keep it in. And I think Kelvin's put their females into that position too many times. These high floaty passes that are hanging up and allow deep male defenders that are quite tall a chance to come in on them. Jayden powers through that. A little bit high on the disc, but low enough to be caught. Nice. Bassam just peeling off his man to get in there.
Anticipating the throw up the line.
Woo. Ryan just beat Steele to that disc. Gonna swing it up to Bassam, but there's no one to swing it to home. The obvious play right now would be to throw this disc straight across the field.
Looks like Tanis is open there on that sideline in the shorts.
She might just be a little bit too high in the field, right? I'd like to see her a little bit more level so there isn't any opportunity for SGR to get in on that disc. Sean to Ryan. Back to Sean. And he's going to rip it backhand, and it's going to hang.
Jordan Steele is in there trying to make a play, and it
Ryan, I don't believe Ryan touched it, but cleated the disc. I guess he's wondering if they punched a hole in it or not. Interesting. One of the rules in Ultimate is unless it is punctured or torn, it cannot be replaced. So if it was stepped on really badly and sort of warped, they do have to finish the point with it, which can cost them for some interesting play. Yeah, they're going to send that disc out. Bring us a fresh disc. The SJR wall is waiting for them. Yeah, I believe that's Tanis on our home sideline, that extra handler. Wow, Santos! Out of everybody came out of that. Oh, geez, Ryan almost dropped that. Over to Thomas. I think exactly. Tanis to get more level, but not so like stay wide but level. Make it easy. To Bassam.
Looking to pop it over the top.
Yep,
and does
to Ryan. Yeah, they got their movement happening. Oh, they're gonna put it up again. Just
nice
not
D there by
Ryan. Quite fast enough, and giving Ryan too many opportunities to use his athleticism to get there. Oh, that's gonna hang and drop quickly. That was a bizarre disc.
It really was. Right over Jordan Steele, right over
I always
Sam
talk about
Burgess' head.
how great any team I coach would be if we had if I had telekinesis, and that's what that looked like. It just pushed it right up and then pushed it right down.
Coach Willem Conrad.
What's that?
Coach Willem Conrad having a say on that throw.
That's right, yes. Ryan's up for the big catch.
That'll now make the score 9-3 for SJR over Kelvin. Kelvin in red, SJR in white.
We're going to need to see an upwind point from Kelvin to really see them get fired up. So the teams are just making their way to the line, getting ready for different preparations. Can Kelvin find a way to force that turnover on that side of the field and work it up, or work it all the way down the field? But they got to get a turn, and they've got to find a way to get in the end zone. Dino right on the line, speaking to his players, trying to make sure they know what their assignments are. They're focused, ready to go. On the other side of the truck, I'm starting to notice, there is a few more people out here than I thought there was. So the weather's really kind of kept away the thousands of people that were here initially, kind of chased them all out of here. But there's a decent little crowd on the other side of this U-Haul.
It's a nice pull there by Bassam. Came out of bounds, but
yeah,
went out of bounds, but came back in.
Going to send that over to Gabe. It's a wobbly disc, but it gets to him. He probably is going to want to send that on his backhand. Bassam would be smart to not let him do it. There's a forehand up over the top. Megan Initiative going up for it.
SJR is getting their wall set up once again.
That's right. Junkman is out there, number 15 for SJR, making his way into that zone. Another player that I'm not super familiar with.
I believe it's Yunkman.
Yunkman. Again, we make no promises about pronunciations. Long trapped on that line. Sends the forehand over the top. Oh, that's one of those dangerous.
Almost got there by
SJR.
SJR.
Luckily, both ladies battling right to the end. The first tip and then right through. Quinn Wilson's going to run that up into the wall. We'll move that disc to Bassam and clear the space.
That's going to hang.
Yeah, right to Tyler.
Good play by him to catch it with two hands and bring it into his stomach as opposed to D'ing it himself.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, just number 15. Ian is a little bit of fancy feet. He was kind of his pivot turned into a bit of a dance, but someone on the field has to call that, not an announcer. So just left hand float that up. Megan's not gonna. Oh wow!
Looked like nobody touched it at all.
No, I don't think. And I think if Blaze had just kind of backed off, he might have just walked right into that. Oh, nice catch.
Nice find too by Bassam. That's the sort of throws Kelvin should be looking for.
Exactly. Easy resets until they have something clear. Oh, nice bid.
See that those discs are just dropping in that wind, so they like the look, like the throw.
Yeah.
Just it's tough to
And
have them
I
get there.
like what Quinn Snyder's been doing it from that handling position. He's been throwing in and moving and creating a lot of space. At other times, Kelvin's been sort of happy to sort of stand back there with two handlers and sort of dish it back and forth to each other until they get frustrated and pop it over the top.
That would, of course, be Quinn Wilson, not Quinn Snyder.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to say a bunch of people's names. Yeah.
Tough
I'm
break
sure
there.
Kelvin would put Quinn Snyder out there if they could.
I have a feeling that they'd be okay with that.
He might help. Blazing Dave with a little give go. Bazam cannot get there. Oh no! That is heartbreaking.
But good concentration there by Caitlin Cho as the disc sails over the defender, hands on Kelvin, and that now makes the score 10-3 for SJR.
Yep. It's going to be very difficult to stop St. John's Ravenscourt from taking 2 banners home today. They've already secured that middle school final. And Kelvin would have to have a pretty epic comeback to undo the score at the moment. Hopefully any more rain would hold off until after we're done here and cleaned up and out of this venue. Team with the win at the back is always going to have a good chance to score, so hopefully this is one of these points that Kelvin can work it down and capitalize.
Coach Daniel Plurd, along with Willem Conrad there, giving their team a pep talk before the 10-3 point.
One of the impressive things about Kelvin's team, and one of the things they can look forward to for a little while here, is the age of the female players on their roster. Only 2 players in grade 11, and the rest of them in grade 10 and 9. So that's really going to give them a good base going forward, where they're not going to be losing some of these players for several years. Again, that over the top is just maybe a little bit too obvious.
Jordan Steele read it pretty well.
Oh,
to give go with Sean Bennett.
Covered that over the top throw.
And back once again.
Nope.
Definitely went out of bounds, and hopefully everyone on the sideline there is okay.
Yeah. It's good to see Thomas out at this Provincials. He had a pretty serious injury at the indoor tournament, and we weren't sure how the rest of the season was going to go, but hasn't seemed to hamper him at all here. He seems fully recovered.
That's a really nice catch there by Sean Bennett, but maybe too quick of a throw that just gets caught in the wind and indeed and caught by Bassam.
Santos looking for that swing, didn't find it. Resets it to Bassam. Out to Tanis. Oh, and Thomas just can't find the disc. Ryan swings out to Steele. Oh, throws a backhand. Oh, and Caitlin just pulls that in with one hand. Is that Daniela? Seems to be.
I believe so. It looks like she gets up. She's okay, and that'll make the score 11-3 for SJR now.
It was interesting from that angle. It looked like the male player from SJR who was behind her was going for it, and it wasn't going to get there, and she kind of appeared from from out of nowhere.
Great grab nonetheless, though.
Looking back at earlier today, we started this A division with some interesting matchups. St. John's Ravenscourt, I believe, started their day off against Westwood. Yes, Westwood, who had a pretty strong season and finished fairly well in this tournament. Did not have a great game against SJR, but hopefully the rest of their games went well. And I believe the other matchup in that division was St. Paul's. And I want to say that they were
Grey
playing
Academy.
against Grey Academy.
Yep.
Thank you. And so Grey Academy pulled off what we'd call a minor upset there. St. Paul's was really kind of coming into their own and had a really strong season. And Grey Academy has a bit of a disadvantage in that their grade 12s are not able to participate in this event. So their team is always a bit younger. But again, as we mentioned earlier, Sarah Jacobson and some other great players obviously made for a really strong team. So that brought us out of the one side. The other side of the bracket saw the Kelvin Clippers defeating the Westgate A team, or pardon me, Westgate Blue, I believe is the proper name of their team. And as previously mentioned, Sturgeon Heights Huskies were able to dispatch the Vincent Massey Trojans and sort of avenge an earlier loss from the indoor tournament and move on into the semis, where it was a great game between Kelvin and Sturgeon that was very dramatic. Came down to the final point kind of situation and a huge defensive effort. It lasted about 2-3 minutes before Kelvin was finally able to score that winning point. Right on the goal line, probably about 40 throws.
If anyone gets a stick, I might bring you this.
A lot of strong teams in this tournament.
It'll be a couple of double cheeseburgers. Yeah.
There's a throw across from Bassam all the way to the home. This close sideline here. For those of you just sort of tuning in, we have the score at 11-3 for SJR. SJR is in white, Kelvin's in red. SJR now has the disc after a quick Kelvin turnover. And a big backhand huck down the field. Bassam looks like he's there.
Just enough.
And Gabe just lost focus for a second with Bassam's touch, and the disc hit the ground.
Oh, Zach with a momentary lapse.
Maybe thinking about his next throw before he's thought about that catch.
Gotta secure that disc first. Skylar shutting down that reset to Liam. Blaze, just can't hold it in. Kelvin's gonna get another shot here. Bassam upfield.
Wide open.
And can he find Skylar in time? Maybe a
That
little
throw
bit too
was-
much. Skylar is fast, and he's going to bid for it, but...
As quick as Skylar is,
Yeah.
that was unbelievably impressive by him.
Yeah, I was surprised he got as close to it as he did.
Any higher on that throw, and he probably would
Yeah,
have had
he
a
just
catch.
need to... And really, a lot of the throws in that direction have been holding up and hanging up in the air, right? Oh, Liam can't quite grab it. Sam Peterson able to put a little bit of pressure on him and cause that turn.
So now Bassam and the Kelvin Clippers working upwind. Nice cut there by Zach Tottle, but not quite enough there. Good defense.
Yeah, Liam did a great job to shut down that open space, and unfortunately, Kelvin does not cash in on this upwind that they so desperately need. Oh. It's that Bryn Murphy that disc was like a bullet coming at her.
Now we just seem to have hucks going back and forth.
This is turning into a bit of a huck fest, but I'm sure at some point SJR or Kelvin's going to get their hands on this disc and calm it down a bit.
Swing across to Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe
He's
with the
looking.
big forehand.
Liam's got that.
Didn't
Now
read
can
there by
Kelvin
Liam.
find the wind? Oh, wow.
But that is a catch there by Bryn Murphy. And that'll make the score 12-3 for SJR. Game to 15.
It's Bryn Murphy. She's got to feel good about that one after almost taking a disc in the face in that previous play.
That's right.
So in conversation with the SGR coaching staff at their trip earlier this month to, I'm almost forgetting, I think it was in Montreal they went to for high school nationals, the Canadian High School Ultimate Championships. Really, it varies from year to year. SGR has won several times. Last year, Winnipeg took 3 of the top 4 spots. Depending on location, what I'm talking about here is the depth of Winnipeg's talent in our teams, and they told us that basically they felt like there was 5 or 6 teams here in our Winnipeg School League that were basically better than the teams that they saw out there, that they had an easier time winning that tournament, easier games than they would here. Next year's going to be in BC, and that's going to be a very different story. I had the privilege of heading out, I think it was 2015, with Sturgeon Heights, and SGR was there as well, and the teams were tough. There was no doubt. There was about 10 teams from BC, and I would say that 7 or 8 of them were probably top-notch caliber, as well as the teams that got sent from the other cities. So it just depends from year to year, but it's nice to think that we don't just have one strong team. We have a bunch of strong teams, and hopefully sometime in the somewhat near future, Winnipeg will be able to host a Canadian High School Ultimate Championship and kind of show Canada the depth of our teams, and enter several teams, not just 1 or 2 or 3, but enter 6, 7, 8 teams into a tournament and see how well they can do against some of the best teams from around the country.
Big pull there from Sean Bennett.
14 here shrieking down the field, but the disc is going to the wrong side, and with Ryan there. Oh, I didn't even see Kelvin's Ryan.
It's like both Ryans were making.
Both Ryans. Kind of funny that the biggest guy in the field is hiding behind somebody, but Jaden Rich. Forehand up for Sean. Wow. Nope. Daniela wasn't going to catch up to that. That got a little chuckle out of Gabe there. He's been trying to imitate his brother Xander with all those big hucks. Wow, that was a nice catch. I didn't see the throw, but it could get interesting. Great bid by Thomas, but just
and
not
again,
enough time to get
SGR
there.
strikes quickly.
Yep, they hurt you when they get turnovers. They move that disc immediately. A lot of teams you'll see will slow things down. The disc will hit the ground, and there'll be a lot of time taken for people to get into positions and get ready for play. But SGR, for the most part, probably 9 times out of 10, they're gonna pick that disc up and move it immediately and try and take advantage of the defense not being ready.
And with that score, it makes the final score, the score right now being 13-3 for SJR.
So we're getting down to the last bit of this game, really. I'm sure there's probably some time left in our time cap because some of these points have been scored extremely quickly. Yeah, there's no worry about the time. This will not come down to time. Unless Kelvin can go on a monster run.
Of course, which is always a possibility.
It is. Just getting ready for this point. Seeing if SGR can kind of keep doing what they've been doing, which is, I don't want to call it running away with it, but they're definitely dominating the play at times. So as we mentioned, most of these players are going to be moving on to our provincial team tryouts next week, and then to team practices for the summer before they head out to Ottawa in August. Zach Tottle collects that disc. Sam Peterson just gets it before the D gets there. Tottle kind of getting double teamed. It's another thing with this wall, the offense should be looking for some of those calls because that could help them out. Quinn Wilson gets that to Tottle through the middle to Skyler. He's going to give that up to Sam Peterson. Over the top to Skyler. Quinn's running upfield. He's got to get his hands on it. What
That's
a catch.
A great catch.
Hold up, Ben. Get the next one.
Quinn looks for that reset.
Tyler, look far.
Tanis is just wide open. I'm not sure. Here we go. There we go. We're swinging over to her. In continuation to Zach. That's a little... Zach swinging that. Again, trying to make this wall move is what would be well advised to do instead of just holding it in the middle. That throw just doesn't quite get there. I do like what they did a bit differently there, though. It finally seems like they had that idea of that lateral movement.
That's a really nice forehand huck from Sam Burridge.
Just enough pressure on him.
Good bid there by Gabe, but Zach right there with the D.
Oh, that throw is off, but he gets the tip and he catches it.
That throw might have gone by him if it wasn't tipped.
Sam Peterson with the give go, looking to put that forehand up, but
that's tight to the line.
Angle.
It's a good bid there by Ben Cockshot.
That's right. We've only seen Ben on the field a couple times, but he's been very noticeable. I don't think that's coming in. Oh, no, that's going to fall short. Almost hit our other tent down there. Kelvin's bringing this disc in. Not too far from their end zone. Where did it go out? Oh, no, wait a minute. They are getting a nice field advantage here. That disc is going to come way up in front of us here. Some players marking him just past half. Kicks the cone out of the way. Again, looking over the top, but the swing and the dump is just free.
Nice bid there by Skylar, just off his fingertips.
Yeah.
Nice cut up the line there.
And looking for that backhand
big fake
hook.
and backhand into the middle of the field for Gabe.
Blaze catches that, puts it across to Tyler. Up to Gabe in the middle, and you almost expected that immediate backhand. Ben to Gabe if he can secure it. The SJR ladies have just flooded up the field. Now they're starting to circle back down. Across, and Megan using that speed.
Sam was open there for a moment.
She
Perhaps
was, yeah.
if he had thrown the forehand
she
around.
Doesn't have that. She didn't have her momentum going, and I've watched Megan run. She's just as fast as you're going to pretty much see in a game like this.
That would have been a very tough catch for Sam.
Oh,
nice
Skylar hugs that in. Oh my God, Zach with a great catch. Zach throwing it over the top to Skylar. He secures that in. Forehands up to little Sam Peterson for the nice score.
Nice catch by Sam. That'll make the score 13-4 for SJR. SJR in white, Kelvin in red.
You see SJR put the pressure on, like right to the end there, even when you knew he was going to make the catch. Still, there was a bid there. Sometimes that's enough to make somebody drop a disc. Just make them think about it.
Looks like SJR is going to put their power line out for guys here again.
Yeah, that top line of SJR has, with the exception of the one time that I can recall, has been able to secure a point every time. And as has been the case all day, the wind seems to have dropped a bit again today. It's kind of up and down, and right now it doesn't seem to be that hard. I'm sure Kelvin wishes it was gusting viciously right now, because that would help their case of scoring a point.
What do you think?
Coach Daniel Plord still on the sideline with his team there.
Oh, there it is. Thomas is hiding on the near sideline. I started counting. I could only see 6 players.
Big forehand
Big
pull there
forehand
from
pull.
Thomas.
Ryan collects. Leave that to Sean on the line. Clears out. They've cleared everything out. There's Sam coming underneath. Gets out to Ryan. He's got it. Oh, thought he was going to get that second catch. Just off his hand. Wasn't able to get it.
Kelvin, definitely an opportunity here to punch it in.
Quinn's got to look to get that back to Bassam and around to Thomas. Here it goes.
Nice read there by Thomas. It falls right
again,
into his
just
hands.
Don't like the style of throw. Right choice. Wrong throw.
That was number 34, Sean Bennett with the D. We've been saying his name a lot today.
Of course. They're going to give go. Nobody's here. This is going to be... Still comes across the steal.
Big leg kick there from Jordan Steele.
Yeah. Can't quite see what's happening over there.
Looks like he's calling himself in, or at least taking a look.
He's checking those cones. He wants to know.
He drops it for the score.
That is the score. Wow.
That makes it 14-4 for SJR.
Yep. The familiar "We Are" SGR chant goes up. Many teams, as you said, have hated hearing that chant. They are 1 point away from what they came here this weekend to do. Looks like a timeout has been called. I'm not sure which team called it. This is one of those situations where I'd imagine, you know, team might want to look at putting out some of those graduating players who this might be the last time they play a point in high school ultimate.
Here, Kelvin encouraging their team to go on a run. It's exactly what they need right now.
That's right. SJR still huddled up. Sean Storm and Dean Wright in there. Not sure who the line's going to be since they have multiple people out there.
Kelvin's still having fun there out on the line. That's always great to see.
We have it inside of my computer, I know that. Don't worry about it. That's not a good thing. All right, let's see if can Kelvin extend this game? Big question. To do it, they're going to have to score into an end zone that's been very difficult to score into today.
With the score being 14-4, this could be the possible IJL game point. See some of the SGR ladies there on the sideline giving each other hugs. As Corey mentioned, I believe they're all in grade 12, so this might be their last point in high school ultimate, so they're just sort of cherishing that moment.
Some good sideline chatter. Got a little bit of energy up. Bassam's going to go for a quick rip and see if he can't.
That's a big hug to Ryan on Ryan. That's a really nice D there from Ryan.
It is.
On Ryan.
Oh, Thomas tried hard on that. Tyler through to Ryan, I believe. I'm guessing because I can't see him.
Yep. Sam Burge now with the disc near the sideline.
Let's reset to Ryan. A little sneaky back and forth there. Sean Bennett up to Sam. Over the top to Steele. Can he find that corner? For the score!
Ryan Eisbrenner with the game-winning point. Pardon me, the IJL game-winning point. And SGR now takes the game 15-4.
Yeah, they charge the field, as would be a custom. Quite excited to win their championship. Kelvin's going to be pretty dejected, but have to realize that they're a young team. They graduated a lot of players last year, and to even be in this final is a great thing for their program. They rebounded so quickly from graduating so many players last spring, and to do so well in the fall and the spring, and just all the props to them for being a top team and for just kind of continually churning out more and more players. Okay, so that's going to bring us near the very end of our two broadcasts. We want to thank everybody for watching this now and later and in the future, and hope that people can tune in next year and in future years, and all the great stuff that's going on with mods. But, of course, we have to thank Independent Jewelers Limited, the Epp Brothers for their support and making this broadcast happen. We want to thank all of the coaches and all the schools and all the teams, all the administrators and all the managers and parents that are part of making these teams happen. It's a lot of work to organize one of these teams and get this all together. And we want to thank everybody that came up and volunteered, all of the summer staff that help Sean and myself, Corey Draper here, run these tournaments. And it's just a really fun weekend. We do a lot of stuff, and the Junior Provincials is by far my favorite event of the year, just because of the atmosphere we get at these events.
It really was fun, especially with having the new venue for us, being able to see all the teams participate. Obviously 49 teams, so many kids being out here, and having such a nice venue. It really was a great weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to thank everybody for tuning in, and we're already picking up cones, and we're ready to give out some awards, but we're gonna leave you with that. We're going to sign off for the 2017 Mods Provincial Championships. Congratulations to St. John's Ravenscourt for a high school and a middle school championship. And it's like deja vu. It just keeps happening every year.